Did he know about Battle of the Year, do you think?
He did. He did,
Okay,
yeah.
So who do you think came out with the concept first? Showcase, then Battle?
It's hard to say, just because.
That sounds like.
I mean, like.
You think Battle of the Year took that idea?
Like not wanting. It's not about not wanting to call him out or anything like that. It's more like his showcase idea had nothing to do with routines. You didn't need routines. But Battle of the Year, you had to have a show. You actually had to choreograph your damn show. That's the whole and we just didn't do that in LA at that time. Now it's normal, but it was not normal at all at that time. Only a few people actually had routines, like Easy Rock and Asia One when they were a duo. Like they had routines. Yeah, a few other people did, but it wasn't really normal.
Right. No, that makes sense. And actually, like, it's crazy how we learn, like, through osmosis, but, like, Style Elements have the routines, and, like, Jeddick and Tells and our crew in California, when started doing a lot of routines, it started getting to a point where you had to tell the battles no routines. Or like only one routine per battle, because like the routines were getting so good, it was like routine versus routine versus routine versus routine. You remember that era?
Yeah, I do, and that rule should be brought back because some of these routines are literally
horrible,
2 or 3 minutes long. I judged about
the Commando
Battle of the Year, and the final battle is 15 minutes. Yeah. It was like 4 rounds, maybe 5, because the routine took up so much time to where it was like where do I draw the line and say like, okay, one dude did his solo and the other dude did a solo, but then they had like the entire It was
yeah, well, I think it's like a monkey see, monkey do type thing where like I remember the Koreans, it was getting to a point where they were just doing a bunch of routines and like it was like routine versus routine versus routine, and it's like, well, who can break in this thing? It's like a showcase battle.
Like at some point, it can detract from the run. It's almost like reality imitating art, know, where like we see these movies like You Got Served. And we make fun of them because they're not true to real life, like the way breaking really is and battles really are. And then we go and mimic what we see on the big screen in real life, and it's life imitating art all over again.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be that way. Granted, there are benefits to that. It's routines are pretty cool when done right, and people have turned that into choreography careers and theater shows, and so there's a pro and a con to it. It's like good arguments to be had on both sides, but in the context of a battle, it can be a bit much.
Yeah, I bet, especially for a judge. So how many battles do you think you've judged?
Definitely more than 10. I couldn't give you a number. Dozens and dozens and dozens.
How long have you been dancing?
29 years.
29 years, so probably more than 50 or 100.
Probably more than 50 to 100.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. On the judging thing, where breaking's going to the Olympics, it's all fine and dandy. It's great. We all kind of saw it, ahead of time, because everybody knew this was like the most competitive sport. People don't understand like the level of difficulty that it takes, but like we already saw it. And like shout out to Spidey again. I remember him saying a bunch of times, and we've already kind of saw it. So as far as the evolution goes and going in, how do you feel about the breaking going to the Olympics?
I think it's one of the best things that could possibly happen to the scene. Now there's a lot of arguments to be made on the other side to say that it detracts from the culture, it turns it into a sport, and it isn't really a sport, but it does at the same time have such a competitive aspect to it that you could definitely say that it is very sport-like. I want to rebut this argument right away that it's gonna destroy the culture, the essence of it.
A lot of people like to bitch and complain about all the other shit that's kind of getting in the mix, like Olympics or organized events or whatever, but
we are the culture.
Because you can do both. You can have it both ways, and besides, no one's forcing you to go and compete at the Olympics.
The way I look at it is just different lanes, you know what I mean? Like if you're into like raw underground events, just go to those.
Right, exactly.
Fucking stop.
It's your choice.
Like breaking on the corner right here.
Right.
And if you want to just practice, go practice. If you want to go to a jam, then go to the jams that you want to go to. Nobody's twisting your arm to like go try out for the Olympics.
Exactly. It's only gonna be like 16 people. It's only gonna be like 32 people.
No, it's not even 32 people. It's gonna be 2 people.
Yeah.
And that's it. Everybody's catching the L.
Close to that, it's like very few events are actually gonna become Olympic qualifying events, right? And there's gonna be 90+% of all of the other events that are not Olympic related in any way, where you can just go and battle the way you always battle. Plus, amongst those,
that's every 4 years.
The raw cipher events with spontaneous battles and no structure, no organizational structure whatsoever. Just a DJ playing music all night, you dancing all night, you battling whoever you want. You're going to have that. You're going to have the organized battle that is smaller and local. You're going to have the statewide. You're going to have the regional, the national, the international. before you even get to the Olympic stuff, and we have all that already. Without the Olympic stuff, it's just going to be the icing on this very big cake that we've always had. So it just adds to it. And on the other hand, what I think is even more important is that, when I was young and learning how to break and trying to figure out how I was going to use this to make a better life for myself, my aspiration was to not join gangs and not have a life of violence and crime and drugs and all those things.
What city you grew up in?
I went to high school in Burbank, grew up in Pasadena.
Okay, yeah, Pasadena. You were
around
101 crew. Shout out 101 crew.
But let me finish that before we go on. And like my aspiration, so to speak.
Sorry, business. No, it's not. It's telemarketer.
Yeah, so my aspiration was basically to not die, right? And I think that was the aspiration of a lot of people that were contemporary with me, but also before me, right? It was just like how can we have a better path in life? What can we aspire to be? I aspire to be so much more because of my breaking career, to where I went to college, I graduated, I had multiple careers in multiple fields that are either directly or indirectly due to what I've learned from breaking, right? But now, a kid can learn how to break and from day one aspire to be a gold medalist in the Olympics.
Yeah, it gives them a goal.
It's
the goal, it gives them a goal.
Goal to be an Olympian.
Right.
That's so much. We would never have dreamed of that when we were young. We thought, it should be, but we never thought that we could be Olympians.
Right.
Now kids can actually get into breaking and dream of becoming an actual Olympian.
Yeah, and it's gonna really solidify the parents, because now it's literally gonna be no one caring to one day. That's why I would tell people, okay, in August 2024, on July 2024, if you were to ask someone who's your favorite b-boy, they will have no idea, right? In September 2024, everyone's gonna have an opinion. They're gonna be like, well, you know what, B-girl blah 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 from Japan should have won, B-girl France, and then I really like this stuff, and it's gonna be like, wow. And the nationality, like Iceman was talking about it, how it's gonna kind of bring back the gang feel where like everyone represents their own country. So like all the country's gonna trip out and they're all gonna back their dancer like all of a sudden. But no, I totally agree. Like we've kind of seen this coming, and like this, it's like fighting. Like just because there's big organization doesn't mean people won't watch a fight. And like we are in control. We are the scene, so we have control of it. So when I tell people, hey, if you feel that you haven't been brought to the table, build your own table. You know what I mean? So yeah. So is there anyone you can accredit to teaching you how to break? Aside from Ace, because I know Ace was a big teacher.
There's no one person who taught me how to break. There's people who've shown me things along the way. Ace is one of them. He's a very important one, very significant one, probably the most significant of any. But there's no one person who basically brought me up from nothing to what I became.
Right.
No,
you kind of develop your style. You got a totally original style.
Yeah, and that was by choice, because I was trying to be different. I thought that was the whole point. You're supposed to be original and unique and stand out. So I did all those things. But I had people like going even further back. I had kids in high school named Dennis and Carlos who taught me a couple of moves to get me started. I had people like Will Power, Little Caesar, Mark Ski, Hex from the Hip Hop Shop, all four at the Hip Hop Shop, who taught me a lot more actual breaking moves. Help me get my turtles better, help me get my flares better, my windmills better, my footwork cleaner, and Ace a bit later, especially with walks, which is what I'm known for. But Ace was I knew how to do them before I met Ace, but Ace really helped me to refine them and do them with this more traditional technique, which was handed down to him from the people that he learned from. So we both carry that on to this day, which is what we call the West Coast style of walks, which is actually inspired by someone who was in Breakin', the movie, which was Handyman, and it was also differently abled. He couldn't bend his knees, very weak, skinny legs.
Anytime I think of Handyman, I hear work. Because like when he brought, what's her name, the girl from the beach,
Those are some of the people that actually showed me specific things that helped me to become who I am. Storm is another one. He helped me with specific footwork drills, for example. And there are probably a few more along the way, but really not that many. It was mostly like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, and me doing what I wanted to do, taking some inspiration from other people that I didn't get to learn directly from. Definitely was inspired by a lot of people I saw on VHS tape, because that's what I had.
What's a VHS tape?
I know. Starting with BReakStreet, but all the way up to like the Battle of the Year videos and other videos that I got to see. You know, definitely took a little bit of inspiration here and there from other people, but always trying to do my own thing as differently as I possibly could.
That's the beauty of this dance. You can take different pieces from different people. You know, I credit my crew for my style, but style elements, you know, like all the West Coast legends, Ivan, style elements, Wicked. You know, you just look at it and you don't want to bite anybody, but you like, you know, kind of take the season from everyone and make your own flavor, you know? How did you meet Storm?